this particular subject on which we are going to have the views of the experts. I only wanted I mean put it across to the to elets to have this topic, because I thought that this is a thing which is being discussed every time I go to any transport meeting. As I was telling in the morning, I was there in the UITP meeting in Washington. This was the first subject, and trust me, all these new technologies which are being talked about in the morning, some of the people have already broached over. Nowhere a standardized pattern is there. What happens if I like a particular thing, like I like suppose the camera, so I'll put some AI there and be happy that I have introduced a AI. So, and we talk about the maintenance and driverless car, driverless trains, etc. But if we really ask ourselves, have we actually done it the way we should have done it? The answer is actually no. I was asking a young engineer just now why we are not actually going for that. All these technologies, knowing that it is very good. Predictive maintenance will be there easier, or your longevity of the rolling stock will get up, increase. All these things are you benefits, But why we are not be able to do? The answer actually what he told to some extent is true. He said two things. One, putting all these things, if you want to bring in all these developments, it requires money. And that money in the project approval, probably we have missed the bus. We have not put that. So, when these new technologies are coming, suppose you want to embed this in DMRC, say. I was talking to, because I'm in DMRC chief. See, it is crores of rupees you have to spend for putting this, modifying the sensors, etc. to get the data. Only when you get the data, then only you can do the machine learning. There is all these analysis, analytics, various algorithms you can write. Otherwise, how you will do it? So, it is very cost intensive to put these things in the existing setup. But in the future setup, we must actually think about that. Look, so now the fourth phase of Delhi Metro, suppose, is going. They should plan it. Say a metro in Srinagar will be there. They should plan that well, so that putting, actually, just like somebody says that refurbishing a old house is costlier than building a new house. So that is actually, in terms of technology also, it is there. But notwithstanding, there are certain technologies which we are going to, the experts are going to talk about. Even small places you can actually implement, which will be beneficial to you. For example, your roster management, duty roster management, etc. A little things about maintenance. But a complete architecture of technology will take a little time. For that, I had suggested that we should actually entrust it to one or two institutes of reputation, which they have already, the government of India has done, to actually find out what type of things we will be putting it in the railways or in the metro, which will be useful not only now but also in future. So I do not want to speak on much on technology, because more informed and experienced persons are in the panel. So I think Sankalp has got a flight. Oh, so you would like to speak first? Okay. Sankalp can actually speak first. He he will be the person, actually he will probably would like to leave because he has the flight. So we actually speak what DMRC has done certain things. Obviously, they are the leaders in metro sector. But what your aspiration? How other metros? Because now a large number of cities in India will be coming into the metro map. There are, or now we are running only 20 cities. That in a very short time, because what we are aspiring by 2047, we will have 100 cities. So let us actually think how we should go about, and your views. And what I say is that each of you actually speak for 4 persons are there, so 10 minutes. Then we'll leave it to the floor to answer, because it's a very important subject. Thank you.
MRC has developed in terms of the predictive maintenance and use of AI. So BCG, Boston Consulting Group, was on board in DMRC, and it studied DMRC's whole system in every department, signaling, telecom, be it electrical, rolling stock, and with deliberations between DMRC and BCG, some 60 use cases were identified, which are under the different phases of development in world over, or they are new. So out of the 60 use cases, 5 use cases were selected for initially going ahead. They were use cases in terms of predictive maintenance of rolling stock, predictive maintenance in the field of signaling and telecom, E&M and traction. And 5th use case is of dashboard, which is created for leadership decision making. So we called for the tender, and this is being sponsored by JICA through a loan system. We are under discussion with MAUA also for if they can give the grant for this. So this is under, in July, the letter was issued to system integrator methods Deloitte, and we are working on this 5 predictive maintenance use cases. And there is a system of Center of Excellence is developed in DMRC in Delhi Metro Rail Academy, so that we can, with the passage of time, we can evolve with some of the new use cases also. So this was the brief about Delhi Metro, which we are doing. And as regards to AI, it is being used in mainly 3 different fields in DMRC. First one is the customer satisfaction. Second one is maintenance aspect, and third one is operational efficiency aspect. So thinking about the metro, when we think of the metro, when we start our journey, we take the tickets, we plan our journey. So there is a chatbot in Delhi Metro mobile app. It is a virtual assistant to passenger. It handles multiple number of queries at the same time. It is AI enabled, and it works 24/7. So it generates the reports also. It has a voice recognition feature, and tickets can be purchased from it. Tickets are of different media, different ways can be purchased the tickets. Once the ticket is purchased by the commuter, now he has to take the decision how to travel to the metro station. So we are doing a pilot at some of the stations. We are using the mobile data and telecom data for identifying the best route connecting the metro stations to nearby vicinity colonies. So feeder last mile connectivity, this use of big data we are using for the last mile connectivity route finalization. Now once the commuter reaches the station, first thing is to is the security check at any metro station. So 2 XBS machines which are AI enabled are being tested in Delhi Metro, 2 of the stations. And once it passes through this X-ray machine, then it goes to the FC system and it reaches the platform. At platform, there are platform display boards which shows the occupancy of the car, of each car of the train, so that passenger can decide which car to board depending upon the number of available seats on that car. Now, once person has taken decision to enter the car, the train, then he performs the journey by rolling stock, by train. So there is a crew management system in Delhi Metro which was in-house developed for automation of this crew scheduling and maintaining the timetable. The train moves. There is a ATP or ATO, and driverless train operation is also at one of the lines in Delhi Metro. Second line, it is under testing, and soon it will be done in UTO mode. So this AI-enabled train itself adjusts to the acceleration, braking through its decision making, so that jerk is limited for the passengers. There we use the data decision making. Then all these things are done. There is a separate dashboard for leadership decision making, covering the aspects of operations, maintenance, punctuality, revenue management. Then coming on to the maintenance aspect, we have developed a performance application. There we are having the failure mechanism of every department. Initially it was done manually, now it has been automated. Then there is a system of automated system of handling the passenger grievance through the one application which is called the Care. Then in terms of maintenance in the rolling stock, there is a Excel monitoring system, Excel temperature, then gear drive monitoring system, wheel profile monitoring system are placed at different locations in Delhi Metro, and these are helping DMRC in taking the decisions, not just the routine maintenance based on the kilometers or number of distance traveled, or be it the time factor for maintenance, but depending upon the health of the system. So depending upon the health of the system, decision is being taken and maintenance is being done. Then there is a block management application, which previously the block was managed manually and there was chances of some error and safety risk also. Now it is being managed automatically through one software. So these are some of the applications which DMRC is using in terms of AI. Thank you.
No, we would be actually, the house probably would like to know. See, some of the things which you told, they are IT enabled services. But I am talking about, the generative AI or something. How do you envisage a particular new metro, suppose is coming up, say Bhubaneswar metro you are now making. So what they should do from the beginning? As I told you, I made a statement. Initially, if you don't plan, then revamping a system is going to be very, very costly.
So this is a very valid question for the new metro. So I am the expert as a train operation expert to Dhaka Metro also. So there I suggested, since they are in the phase of tendering and making the contracts, so likewise this sensor-based AI-enabled solutions can be inbuilt in the tender stage only, so that it is covered under the project cost. As you rightly said in the introduction, sir, that rebuilding the house, refurbishing the house is more costly than building the new house, sir. So that then it will be covered under the loan from where they are taking JICA loan or loans from other department. So it can be covered in the project phase. Then it will be very easy for the metros to go ahead with this.
Okay, thank you, Sankalp. We will come back again, certain things. Now we will be going to the paradise of India, the Jammu and Kashmir. Trust me, I actually attended a meeting along with the Chief Secretary of J&K 2 years back in the House of Lords. And he gave actually a report card. I did not first believe it. I said, so many things you are doing in Jammu and Kashmir in terms of technology, and we don't know. Of course, it's a very sensitive, the most sensitive state in our country, and most beautiful state. And they are going full to technology. So let us actually hear in terms of, because they have now the glorious tunnel or the new railway line, it's a marvel, technological marvel, they say. So let us actually hear from Dr. Manas, who is the Director of Industries, and let us hear that what is being done and what should be done.
Thank you, sir. Come 26th of January 2025, there will be a watershed moment in the history of railways and in the history of India, when a train would be reaching Kashmir. So this is a watershed moment in the history of Indian Railway as far as railway infrastructure is concerned. And truly, wherever tunnels were constructed or bridges were constructed, indeed engineering marvel. I think Phones, one of the sponsors here, they are one of the construction agency of this magna opus infrastructural project. Two, three things, and sir rightly said, we probably were the number one country in the world with highest number of online services we provide to citizens in J&K. Having said that, particularly on the infrastructural side, Jammu is more coming up as an industrial hub in the northern India. And with industries coming up, railway mobility becomes very important, and it plays a very important role as far as logistics is concerned. As far as the use of technology in railways is concerned, I won't spend much of time here because right from the morning we have been hearing, and my co-panelists also said that how they are using AI in predictive maintenance. And I must say, sir, that IRCTC, they handle probably the only organization which handles 2.5 crore queries in a day, and which is a huge, I mean, it's a huge number, handling 2.5 crores of inquiries in a day. And that is all possible because of role of use of technology in that. And AI had become he talked about a chat box. Yes, Indian Railways has started a chat box called Ask Disha, wherein all kind of details like PNR status, like timing of the trains they are taking care of, then predictive maintenance, then Internet of Things. The using internet technology in railway safety or passenger safety. The railway bridge on the Chenab is one of the mightiest river of Jammu and Kashmir. The highest railway bridge in the world has been constructed on the Chenab, and it has that sensor-based IoT-defined sensor-based technology, wherein it can very well guarantee the structural vulnerability of the bridge, thus safeguarding the passenger safety. And this is how technology is playing a huge role, or internet or AI, machine learning is playing a huge role in it. Thirdly, with that, as sir also said, all these things taking into account that we need huge kind of investment. And for that, I think, yes, public spending won't be that easy, but yes, we need public-private partnership, wherein we can get the operational efficiency, deep pockets from the private sector, and the pooling of resources with the public sector as well. This is the only way forward where we can take this infrastructural, this mobility very fast in our country. And secondly, as sir in the morning session said that India constitutes around 40 to 18% of the logistic cost, and the average, the high developed countries in the world, they have around 6 to 8% of logistic cost. And to come to that level, we need to have a huge logistic infrastructure. And I'm glad to share with you that we have one already operational multimodal logistic park in Jammu. ACTL is running that. And secondly, National Highway Authority of India, it has a SPV, NHDCL. They're also coming up with a multimodal logistic park, around 100-acre logistic park, wherein it could become it would be a complementary role to the industrial development in Jammu and Kashmir. And that's it. This is it from my side.
No, see, I was told a lot of integrated approaches are being planned in the transport sector, in other sectors, and J&K will be, I have no doubt, will be a leader because they are late starter. Always the late starter gets the best of the technology. and and tested also. So you are that multimodal hub and this Srinagar. Just if you tell a little bit, because everybody wants to go to Srinagar and something at least for LTC, taking LTC or going there.
Indeed, multimodal logistic parks are going to be the in thing in the coming years, because we talk of Industrial Revolution 4.0 or Industrial Development 4.0, and logistics becomes a important that block in that area. Yes, we need jumping to a highly capital intensive technology based infrastructure mobility is very difficult task, because we need a lot of deep pockets for that. Yes, to start with we need to have a hybrid model. We need to have an integrated approach, so that slowly and steadily we can not only come up with the better technologies in the years to come, but to sustain that. Because it's very easy to say that, look, what others say Switzerland in as far as railway infrastructure is doing. It's very easy to say, but the country like India, we need a huge capital for that. Yes, we need to start with, we need a hybrid model, we need to have an integrated approach, but eventually technology is indeed going to play an important role in infrastructure and urban mobility.
Thank you, Arun. Amongst the panelists, Pandey is the only person who is thoroughly and fully 100% or 110% IT. So let us actually hear what he has to say. You don't actually limit it to only your organization. Obviously, that is, of course, the better off. But you talk and advise us what we should do and what we should not do.
Right. So, thank you, sir, for that challenging question. And the audience and the house has heard my managing director, my director of finance. So they've heard about my organization enough. And with the liberty that you have given me, let me add a disclaimer. Thoughts expressed are personal. And then I will go ahead and take a flight of imagination in the technology world. The challenge that, and given my background, sir, I come from the armed forces, and when I joined Dedicated Freight Corridor almost 5 years back, I was seeing it as a third person's perspective. And when I see it as a third person's perspective, the challenge that I see with respect to modernization is that railway is classical operational technology. Operational technology has huge capex, long life. So now my technology cycles which have existed later, they are getting shorter and shorter and shorter. IT today, if we're talking at best 5 hours, 5 years, 7 years. That is what we are talking. How do I address the problem of dual problem? Technology life cycle being short, my procurement cycle being longer than the technology life cycle. So even if I envisage today that this is the technology that I'm going to bet on tomorrow, by the time I have procured it and deployed it on ground, that technology has gone obsolete. And here I am talking of minimum 3 to 4 technology life cycle. That is a good part of the problem. So I thought problem is the easiest thing to convey. Let me see where I can find a solution. And the solution that I found was something that we used to do earlier. One is get rid of this thing that you are advocating initially, sir, standardization. In OT, lot of proprietary is working. So if we move from proprietary to open source, you can get out of the, pardon me, some of the people are sponsors here, from the clutches of the OEMs who are there. They have a stranglehold on it. So if something which would have otherwise cost you 5 rupees comes to you for 55 rupees because it's a proprietary item controlled by only one person. So what do? We need to have a cultural shift in our functioning. What we need to do, sir, is probably have a team which is a technology scouting team. What is happening in the world, where, which conditions are adopting which kind of technologies, which is the latest today. Because reliability is the very next important thing. I can't take a technology which actually just disappears tomorrow. And that is the reason why we are there with RFID on Kavach, because it has proven its reliability. Where I have a totally different thought, and I'll just touch upon it after that. Once I have this technology scouting team who is scouting on technology, I have my use cases. Can I leverage this technology to address my use cases and democratize these OEMs which have proprietary products, which will come through a innovation lab of my own. So if I have an innovation lab of my own, where I am able to even play around, because the first thing that the OEM tells me is, you integrate with someone else, the warranty is void. I am not responsible for the safety of the operations. CIL 4 certifications are violated. Now CIL 4 has a safety orientations. The world has moved in all aspects to risk-based approach, where people are not now talking of your security aspects. So if you say the operation is secure, it should be equally well than saying that the operation is safe. The standards which have come on this side of the OT are now IEC 62443, which also talk of risk-based approach. So we need to change. That cultural mindset has to come in.
Yeah, with the marketing has gone, that's how we would be. Yeah, I know they go. Like in morning, I need to make up it. I don't need that. I want to know what I'm home. I want to get the egg, and I need to have it's a collaborative point that where being that it's spoken back there, there, here, walking around there, put with my sister's way. Yeah. But if I need, I can't come in with my cat. Walk over here today. But I got a cat in one minute, but it's better than break up here now. Playing was wrong now. You might never know where you die. You won't forget it. Get a cool bit out there to come up in and I'm going to sit there. It's just going to I think what the mate. Special technology is right home. To go out, back out the technology. But that's why they do the thing they do like. I said in the big thing. Why can't you like so? These are going to happen. The weak things that right? It's the white thing. They best thing they did. That's what you said. The four little beings to think about things. If I can this place, like I can want to call it, it's a little see all taking minutes, 60, 40 things when they go away. Right? The problem with the pacemaker to just starts to go away. No, train back in. You probably get this thing, to the phone, marching about it, 5 to 15, and they're taking the white is way for kind of connectivity. Where they go 7 to 3 of that data and 8 like it, right? And marching the support mission to know. Well, that is all. Okay.
At the mic. So I think I'll right now, because that is where I can see, sir, there are other applications of blockchain and menaces with respect to, especially menaces of cybersecurity is something which will emerge, where as and when you approach open source kind of technology, which probably if we have time, sir, we can touch upon later. But this is my thought on technology side at least, sir.
Yeah. So a technocrat giving the philosophy of technology is always very interesting to hear. I mean, that is what we heard because he is by DNA Fauji and now doing technology. So let us actually say that the practicality of the situation is there in his everything. So what he spoke is very practical from the point of view of anything we are going to implement. It's very easy to say that actually you implement this technology and that technology, but to maybe after say Kavach is working in RFID, somebody was asking why not in 5G. So, but the question here is that अरे वो तो काम कर रहा है क्यों चेंज करना है, and that is what they are going to do. No, you see now, if you remember in our households during my mother used to use a Sumit grinder. That used to be the most sustainable and tough grinder there. Even now also people use it. They have not changed the technology. Because, and then say the grinder का काम क्या है? पीसना तो है. So if you put it in electronically by using a boss or a very sophisticated one, the product is the same. So that is one way of looking into it. But when a particular technology is actually helping you to improve your efficiency and etc., you must use it. That's what all of us actually have actually talked about, because we are practitioners by now. Let us go to an academician to actually talk about. So, sir, what is your take? So, and you have to let us know how you perceive all these things. We are all actually more, what do you call? We do not know much of the things. You know most of the things. You please tell us what is to be done.
Hello.
Thank you, Mr. Behera. Firstly, let me clarify that I am not academician by profession. I have been chief engineer in DRM Railways, and then now for the last 20 years, I am with Indian Railway Institute of Transport Management. But nevertheless, the question is very valid and very apt. First thing is that the level of problem which we are facing as of now, that is, there's a wide spectrum, right at the from the bullock cart to the spaceship. In India, we have all the spectrum. So basically, we have to firstly uplift from the basic and bring it at par at all the all the levels. But going by that, from when the Industrial Revolution has come some 200 years back, after the advent of a steam engine to present day digital revolution, which has occupied the space, and that is called I 4.0. We are using big data analytics, IoT, digital twins, and blockchain mechanism for in Indian Railways. Our relational database management of the CRIS, that is doing awesome job, and that is integrating right from the micro level based passenger behavior to traffic planning, and then developing the schedule of the trains. Then of course we are into the predictive maintenance, and whereby with the help of sensors and with the help of objects and calculation computations objects, we are able to feed into when the projection, when the maintenance would be required, not only of the track, but also of the carriage and wagons, of the signaling of OHE. And so these are sweeping the changes. But as it has been put before also, that there is a lack of coordination among so much of data and that is being generated. So interoperability is very, very essential. How different systems and how different platforms can be integrated, that is one of the challenge in which the industry is working. And GP, that General Data Protection Rights, and that European-based system is there, that is working on that, how we can make it standardized so that that can be utilized across the several systems and for several purposes. So from this I 4.0, we are now into I 5.0, that is Industrial Revolution 5.0. Actually, this is not for generating data or for working with some automation. The human is the center. So right now the development is towards the human-centric approach. The passengers who have to be alerted. So that is, they must be what is their intelligence, what is the emotions, or how a human behave. That has to be the center point, and how it can be made their life much more conducive. So from there to circular economy. Earlier we used to produce, used to take the raw material, produce it, and then use that and dispose of. Right now we are into the circular economy, whereby the raw materials which are used, they are scarce, while the waste which is coming up, that is not environmentally, that is quite environmentally dangerous too. So if we reuse it or recycle it, or we somehow the technology is being used so that the
Fascinating one. Hello.
Hello. So circular economy is part of the Industrial Revolution 5.0, which is going to sweep next. And there we have to, so right now as we are struggling to make predictive maintenance as part of our strategy by placing sensors, by making automations, blockchain and everything. In I.0, then we are going to have the prescriptive maintenance, whereby it will be further the rationalization of the resources for maintenance will have to further go in for prescriptive maintenance, and that will be that is going to be the part of the cost-based management maintenance, which is going to come up next. So we have to have for environmental sustainability, for long-term solutions, because our assets are in any case going to have a life of 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. So there has to be scalability and interoperability between different channels, systems, and platforms. And it has to be, there has to be a democratization of the data and the systems. So this is how we take it. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, guys, sir. Before I actually broach over something, will there be any person from the audience to make any comment? Not a question. Any comment on this very important subject? If somebody is there, you can. Yeah. So can you give a mic? Yeah. Just introduce yourself for the benefit of the house.
I'm Anurag Kapil. I'm posted as the Executive Director of Finance Expenditure in Railway Board, and I'm also looking after the charge of Director of Finance in Concor. I would just like to add what Mr. Kazi has mentioned. So Railways is going long ahead in this data. So data collection, what he mentioned is that predictive analysis is going to be a breakthrough in the railways, because the data which is to be generated is to be studied, that because of what circumstances, because of what data which have been collected, was there any mishap, and that data will now be used as in the analytics to come up with that what should be prescribed, the predictive things, and the prescribed maintenance also. The maintenance schedules and all will have to have changes, will have to have some kind of predictability, that because of these areas, or because of these kind of data, a certain thing has happened. And it is really going to come up very, very in a big way.
Any other person?
Yeah, that's correct.
Good afternoon. I am Hira Bullav, Director of Finance, DFCCIL. What I feel is that the most of the new technology is coming from single sources. So some monopolistic tendencies are there, and the cost is so huge. The technology may be very super and very good, but it becomes, the cost-wise, it becomes very difficult to introduce this technology at many places. So this always remains a challenge. Thank you.
No, I was actually being told more than the capex which you are going to, the opex is very expensive. That is why the people suppose capex, the problem is that you go for a multilateral financing in the project cost. After that, also presently, because the technology probably has not stabilized in that particular way. I don't know about this particular, because I was told the opex cost is very, very high.
Yeah, I think I like.
So the driving force behind railway again becomes a very unique environment, because capex, you have to incur a certain amount of capex you have to incur to get operational ability. But then there is a business model of the supporting services comes into play. So if you have cloud services, they say, okay, you're not establishing a cloud, I'm putting it on your premise, but then I'm deriving the entire cloud service cost over a period of next 5-7 years. So the OPEX suddenly starts to rise. The model is changing day by day. One classical example that I can give is one of the cases where operations control center state of the art you saw. The operations control center, the data center is classically, it's a operations control center, the heart of it is a data center. And the data center has few operational applications running. None of these operational applications are rocket science. But if I have to replicate the same data center and make a DR of it, the cost of it runs into a value which is much higher than creating a data center of 10 times the capacity commercially. So that is the kind of stranglehold that we are dealing with, sir, and the business model of the OEMs. Notwithstanding that, sir, I still feel as railways, because track is my business, more trains per track kilometer is what is going to drive my business. And if I have to get that capability of more trains per track kilometer, I have to move today from the fixed block system to the moving block system. The world is talking of connected trains, where the train talk to each other, negotiate the safety distance between each other. Relative situational and positional awareness is there with each train. A test case has already been done in Delhi Metro. So you have a test case which can be rolled out and leveraged upon. So that is where I am talking of with respect to the utilizing more trains per track kilometer. With respect to, if you permit, the data protection portion. Data, sir, again, we are not utilizing data or analyzing data in a holistic manner. We still continue to analyze data in silos. So operational data, operations, signaling data, signaling. So that siloed approach to project management, development, and its subsequent operation needs to break. Technology provides you platform to bring all this data to analyze data from two different verticals with respect to one particular incident, or even bring out correlations in them to have better decision support systems or management subsystem. So that is where I would say, sir, we need to analyze data holistically and even plan projects holistically, where the signaling and civil assets do not come up separately. We have to have a critical path at every point in the project management. So these are structural changes that we need to have. If I can have 10 kilometers of route, 10 kilometers of route, but both signaling, civil, and other assets are there in time. 10 kilometers of operations still start. So that critical path has to be identified in short term also.
Just adding, just adding what sir said. The main, problem we have been talking about technology, other things we talk, but one is regulatory framework. Integrated approach at the planning level, like sir said. Now, let's start from the land acquisition. It's a very tedious process, because somewhere you have the problem, the revenue papers are not there. Then you deal with them, then comes the forest department, then will come another department. So having clearances, NOCs and all that, it takes a hell lot of our time, sir. So as Rasta rightly put it out, that every department is working in silos, there has to be some kind of a convergence, wherein all departments, they sit together and clear a project. And I'm sure that Prime Minister's National Master portal, PM Gati Shakti, it's still in nascent stages, still in infant, but this is going to be a huge contributor as far as clearances from all departments, big projects will be cleared in the times to come, wherein all the ministers, they will have their representatives, and they can have at a common platform, they can clear the thing. And that would really push the thing forward as far as clearances is concerned. And there we need an integrated approach rather than every department, ministry working in silos, sir. That's thing important.
Yeah, actually two things about the interdepartmental or interdivisional coordination. Everybody speaks about it, but nothing happens. That is because somebody told me when I was working in Government of India, so they said that unless the Joint Secretary writes on the file that it will not be sanctioned, then how other person will come and see that to meet the Joint Secretary and see his existence? That is the question. So he said the best thing to prove your existence in governance is to write either no or speak. Then you are there. So that is going on. That anyway, that is a lighter side of it. What I say is that, look, the objective of Indian railways and the objectives of the railways in other developed countries are little different. We have all kind of compartments, etc. You don't get this kind of compartments in US, and it will be all same. And the suburban trains in New York, $25 you have to pay. Whether it is गरीबी है वो है और किसी का सब्सिडी है वो सब नहीं है, बट $25 पे टिकट का ये लो, चलो मैनहट्टन जाना है जाओ. Whether you want to go by cheaper, go to the underground and go by metro, that is cheaper. So that is a different thing, but we can't afford because it is the biggest national integrator, Indian Railways. So it has happened that way. Slowly, but things have improved. I, in my childhood, could not have imagined that a particular whole train will be air-conditioned. We used to have air-conditioned train. First I saw in my hometown, Puri, and I went as a school to see that what is a air-conditioned bogie. That is the kind of thing used to happen. But it has changed. But what I wanted to know from the house, that all the experts have said that these technologies inevitably has to be applied to make your job easier, to bring more comfort, etc. But how it is to be done, whether the regulatory framework has to be made, and what are the things to be firstly done at this stage, say for a new metro like Bhubaneswar, you are saying, what do you wanted to actually put? Cybersecurity is compulsory. Now, can we actually recommend to Mohua that in the next DPRs of the metros, you should actually have a new generation technology? Also is a chapter. They have added a chapter called cybersecurity, you might be knowing, in the year 2021. That DPR without cybersecurity chapter will not be treated. Similarly, we say in every DPR, we will put new generation technology, how you are going to. So it goes to the project cost, as you are telling about. But, well, that is fine. You will bring in. But how do we reduce the OPEX? That is another question.
In regard to that funding issue, I want to submit that there is we can include that in the project cost as well, and there is a scheme of central financial assistance scheme of government. Metros which are existing in operations, they can utilize that CFS scheme that is already existing. For operational metro, central financial assistance scheme is available under the Government of India guidelines. So they have certain funds arranged for them, and DMRC is under discussion, and likewise other metros can also discuss for which are operational for these types of predictive maintenance activities.
Yeah. Now at the penultimate stage, if anything you want to say, anything last thing, because we are running sort of time.
I was mentioning that around $100 billion are going to be invested in another 2 years in the mobility sector, and particularly for the Indian Railways, it is around 11 lakh crore rupees in next 2 to 3 years, which is going to be invested. So it's only a matter of, as it has been said, that during the formulation of the DPR, we have to think about the integrated system right from the spectrum, one end of the spectrum to other, and comprehensively plan, very effectively executing it together. We cannot operate in different scenarios and silos.
Okay. So, because of the paucity of time, I am actually being already indicated that we are crossing. We take one question from any of you to any of the panelists, and then we end by saying that we enjoyed this particular thing. And personally speaking, I also learned many things. And I'm sure that during your tea break, the panelists will be always there. You can also ask questions. But we take one question to see that the formalities are complete. If the questions are not there, then we are very outstanding.
Good afternoon, all panelists and sirs. My name is Anil Kumar from Kochi Metro. Just a general question, which in my mind, it's not very technical, but actually thing is, we are more and more getting into the technologies and advancement day by day. The same equally, parallelly, how we can secure those technologies and safeguard, so that if we are in very advanced technology, it could be a moment then it can collapse also if some hacking or some cybersecurity breach. So equally, how we can get the support of cybersecurity and protection of the data and information to safeguard a complete setup. That is my question.
Yeah. Anil, that's a wonderful question and it will take a full day to answer. But to keep it short, the two things. One is the minimum cyber defense deterrence capability, which we do not have incidentally, where we do not know our assets. The OT was purpose built, had very low compute, very low storage, but with state coming into effect and the kind of cyber attacks that we are experiencing, it can cripple a strategic sector, a critical infrastructure like railways, having catastrophic effect on the overall economy of the state or even the nation state. The second part of it is resilience. Attack will happen. There is no stopping a determined enemy. Attack will happen. It is your ability to bounce back with the shortest RPO and shortest RTO. If you understand those two words, it is the recovery point objective and recovery time objective. That is what is the key to survival. There is no other key. So there will be attacks. You have to be ready to. Otherwise, it's a one day discussion. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.